Cici Kavanagh, thanks for joining us on Quick Mix.
Thank you very much for having me.
How was your flight over here?
It was very sweaty but swift.
Who did you fly with?
Ryanair.
I'm sorry to hear it. Have you ever flown business class?
I have.
Where did you go?
To Dubai.
What's the furthest you've ever travelled for a gig?
India.
Was it worth it?
Absolutely.
You've just released your first ever track. Can you summarise it in 3 words?
Deep, growling grooves.
Grooves. Bet you can't wait to play it live.
Oh, I can't wait. Junction 2 is happening.
And also, you are joining Pikes this summer as resident DJ. Bet you can't wait to play it there also.
I am. It's my 6th summer as resident for Cosmic Pineapple, so it's going to be brilliant.
Do you have a favourite Pikes cocktail?
It's called the Wham.
If you were a cocktail, what would you be?
A Picante.
I'm curious, you've got a radio show that you're starting. Why do you choose to call the show Curiosity?
Because it was going to be an amalgamation of different sounds that I wouldn't be playing in clubs of the dance floor that span across all genres.
You have a track coming out called Colours and Waves, released on Manpower's label. How'd that come to pass?
I actually have an EP coming out on Me Records, so that was signed first, and then this remix was kind of just a bonus.
You also have an EP coming out on Melody's Warehouse. What 3 things sum that up?
Big room, jacking, breakbeat.
What's the weirdest request you've ever had from a fan?
To send someone a birthday video message.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever read about yourself online?
There used to be a blog called Cici Kavanagh, and that was pretty weird but fun.
Do you have any irrational fears?
Snails.
What's your guilty pleasure?
The devil's lettuce.
What's the best present anyone ever gave you?
An 808.
What topic other than music could you talk about for hours?
Art.
What's the best blag you've ever heard to get into a club?
Pretending to be Kim Booth.
What's the best way to get into Berghain?
Wear a harness, look the part.
Not pretending to be Kim Booth?
Or also, this is a connecting story, also pretending to be Kim Booth.
What's the most you ever spent on Discogs in one order?
About £180 on a Moody Man record.
What's the best party you've ever been at?
Italo Johnson in Panorama Bar.
Can you recommend us a book?
The Cosmic Serpent.
Can you recommend us a film?
His House.
Would it be wrong to add links to tunes on gravestones? Hustle in the Afterlife?
Absolutely not. Might as well get played while I'm dead.
What's the most visited or the record store you visited the most?
The most would be maybe City Records in Dublin.
And what's the record store you recommend the most?
Lucky Records in Reykjavik.
What one thing should you do before you die?
See the Northern Lights.
Can you complete the sentence? At heart, I'm really just a
cosmic being.
What one bad habit can you not just break?
Interrupting people.
You can only live in one place for the rest of your life from tomorrow. Where would it be?
Ibiza.
What do you say when a neighbour asks you to turn it down?
Sorry, what? I can't hear you.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, for me.
If you could meet one sports celebrity, who would it be?
I met Usain Bolt, that was pretty cool.
If your DJ name is your pet's name followed by your first love's name, what's yours?
Tori Mike. Horrendous.
What's the best way to become an Instagram DJ?
Maybe buy followers like some of the other Instagram DJs.
Have you ever seen an online argument resolve itself?
Never. I've never stuck around long enough to see if it resolves itself.
Why would you? What's the weirdest thing the warm-up DJ has left you in the booth?
A really bad smell.
Have you ever bombed and totally cleared the dance floor?
Probably, but like a million years ago, so we don't talk about it anymore.
What do your extended family think you do?
Party.
What's the worst DJ name you've come across?
A female DJ duo called Four Tit.
Could you survive without social media?
Yes, but I'd miss the memes.
If techno came up in charades, how would you do it?
Probably Big Fish, Small Fish, cardboard box.
How would you spend $1 million if you had it?
I'd buy a finca in Ibiza and turn it into a live workspace with a beautiful studio.
What's the most important thing your parents taught you?
Tenacity.
What do your parents think you do?
All.
What's life on the road taught you?
To be prepared.
What's the one thing you love about music the most?
How it makes me feel.
What's your pet peeve about techno?
The hierarchy.
What's a new technique you're trying to master today?
Today, doing this interview.
How do you spend your downtime when you're on the road?
Watching Netflix on my phone in transit on a plane.
What's the last TV show you binge watched?
The Handmaid's Tale.
It's very good. What would you sing if you were at karaoke?
Goodbye Horses, Q Lazarus.
What's the biggest life lesson in production and DJing has that taught you?
To believe in yourself.
What's the biggest myth about being a DJ and producer?
That it's easy.
If you could arrange a dinner with anyone, who would it be?
Jeff Mills.
When was the last time music made you cry?
This morning.
What were you listening to?
Fawn Wood, a Native American singer.
What's the craziest thing you've ever seen in a club?
Anything in Berkheim. People peeing in people's mouths.
How do you deal with negative feedback or social media criticism?
I just try to ignore it.
What 3 adjectives sum up your music?
Trippy, deep, groovy.
Who do you call for music business advice?
Ralph Moore.
What message do you want to send to your young fans?
Keep following me.
Do you find it difficult to make music?
No, depends what kind of day it is, you know? Like some days are difficult, some days are very fluid.
Do you find it more difficult to make music or to DJ?
To make music.
Was there ever a time you felt nervous performing?
Yes.
Where was it?
Fabric Room 1 the first time.
Is collaboration a rich creative experience or a pain in the ass?
It's definitely a rich creative experience.
If you could only listen to one more track for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Aphex Twin, Alberta Balsam.
Do you prefer 20,000 people or 200 people to play to?
Depends where it is. There's nothing better than being able to connect, you know, with 200 people, whereas sometimes 2,000 people, big stage, you feel, you know, there's a huge space between you and them. It depends. Probably 200 great people instead of 2,000 shit people, sorry.
How do you know they're great people?
Well, if they're all great people, I don't know. It depends where you are, you know, like it could be you could be in a really great underground club or you could be in a huge kind of lifeless festival. That's how you know.
What one piece of software kit could you not do without?
Ableton.
What about the Push 2?
I don't actually use the Push, sorry. Sorry to my old tutors in Point Blank.
Can you give us a quick music production tip?
Double up your channels or triple up your channels and then pan the sounds to left, right and center to create it's really good for bass, to create a really voomph of
Who inspired you to DJ or produce?
Ricardo Villalobos.
Is sampling stealing?
No.
Is vinyl DJing the most skillful form of DJing?
Probably.
Do producers overthink their mixes?
100%.
Do you listen back to your track when someone mentions your track to you?
No, because I've already listened to it 1,000 times.
Do you master your own records?
I don't.
What's the secret to the perfect kick drum?
Really good EQ.
What's the strangest thing on your rider?
My rider is just tequila, sparkling water and limes, so there's nothing strange.
What's the best club to play in?
Fabric.
Is that the club that sounds the best to play in as well?
100%.
What's the most embarrassing thing you've done to a dance floor?
Cued the wrong deck, and you're not a real DJ if you haven't done it. I'm sorry, it's a rite of passage.
What do you think is the best way to find your own sound, or indeed a new sound?
To compile field recordings and, you know, organic sounds, and then to manipulate them into something that is truly yours.
Can you name a timeless track?
JD, Plastic Dreams.
What's your favourite DJ pose? Is it Jesus or Pointer?
It's Jesus, probably, but I do some quite embarrassing, like, fist action that it needs to change, I'm sure, but I will do it for the rest of my life.
Well, we'll look forward to it. What's your pre-gig ritual?
I love to get ready with the playlist or whatever that I've made and really get into the mindset of the night ahead.
Crossfader or channel faders?
Channel faders, always.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your music production skills?
I would say an 8.
We've come to the end of the interview on Waxing Lyrical. Thank you for being here. We've got one more question for you. How would you like to be remembered?
I'd like to be remembered with warmth and a little bit of magic in people's hearts.